Hello, what's up guys, welcome to the 19th tutorial in the series, the basics of programming with Python. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to write to files and read from files without having to open your notepad or even having to open Excel at all, and it's very simple with Python. So today we're going to be talking about file IO. Now let's get into today's video. Anyway, don't be surprised by the new layout. I had to make it this way so you can see some things and it will be way easier for us to follow along with the tutorial. And by the way, what's file IO? So when I say file IO simply means input output. For example, using your input function is a way of input and output by printing out. But in this case, we're going to be doing file IO, inputting to files and outputting from files, which is simply writing to files and reading from files. Okay, now so let's get into the video. Sorry, we're in the video already. Let's get into coding. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you don't have to import any Python standard library or any module. The way you do it is just we'll create a variable, we'll call it file. Okay, let's call it file, and then just all you have to do is call the open function and the name of the file in here. Okay, so we saw that prompt. Okay, so let's do this again. Okay, as you can see, we have file here and some other things we'll talk about later. Okay, so we'll pass the name of the file in here, and that's all. Very simple. Okay, so how do you pass the name of the file? You can either pass it in two ways. You can either pass it with by just passing the full part, the part of the file. I'll show you how to get that and the other way is you just have to pass the name of the file. So in this case, since we have IO in here, all I have to pass is just the name of the file, and Python is going to check the current directory. Do this is not any file, you don't have to worry about that. So let me show you how to check the full file part. Okay, all you have to do is just come up here and then you copy Ctrl+C. So as you can see, just make sure you're down here, see users, the Kemi desktop tutorial file IO, and once you just click on that, you copy. And if you have any issues with that, if for example, let's say you click your document from here and you can't access that from here, all you have to do is just come down to your local disk C, you go down to your users, click on your username, and then if your username is Tekemi, by the way, yours should be probably your name, you click on it and then local desktop. So let me quickly show you what I mean. Users, we're gonna come to Tekemi, and yeah, once you come to desktop, for example, then you should see it. So all you have to do is just come down here, file IO, and you get the same thing. Okay, so that is as simple as that, and then we'll paste it here. Okay, so from what we talked about, this backslash is not going to work because an escape character. So the way we do that is by escaping it. So I'm just going to leave that for now, so I'll show you. And so whenever you open a file, you want to make sure you are closing it at the end, so you don't just have it open even after you finished. So just for memory management and stuff like that, or something. Okay, so you just want to make sure you close your file whenever you open it. I don't want to talk too much about it, so go deep dive. Okay, so now we've passed the part of this, and then we're gonna do this, and then the name of the file is gonna be hello.txt. so that'll be the name of the file we're creating. Okay, we're in this directory already, hello.txt. okay, now we're gonna run it, and you can see this error, which is as a result of what I told you earlier on. Okay, so if you run it now, you should see what we have is file not found, which is true, the file doesn't exist. Okay, so that's cool now, which means this is working fine, and then we close our file even after the error. Okay, cool. Anyway, so that's normal. Whenever a file doesn't exist, you should throw you that error. Now let's talk about writing to files. So how do you write to files? So there's something called modes, and modes is the way you tell Python what you want to do with whatever file, and the way you do it is just by using comma and then mode equals to whatever you want to give. So we have various modes. We have the append mode, we have the read mode, we have the write mode, and some others we're talking about later in this video. So yeah, what we want to do is we want to write instead. So we're writing to files. That's with W, is represented with W. Okay, so since this is default positional argument, we're just gonna put it here. So since the positional argument, we're just gonna put it right here, and it's still the same thing, or you can just put mode here any way you want it. Well, I'm gonna leave mine this way. Okay, so now we have write. So I want to tell you something. Whenever you're using the write mode, if the file doesn't exist, it's gonna create the file for you, or if the file exists already, it's gonna override the file. So be careful when you use it to make sure you're not overwriting a file that you have there already. Okay, so I'm gonna save this and run it. So it's what I mean. So if I run, you see created the file here already, which is the reason why I'm using this layout. Okay, now I'm gonna do, so the way you write your file is very simple. File the write, and then you're passing whatever you want to give it. So we're gonna do hello def, and then we're gonna close, and then we're gonna save it. So it's as easy as that. That's how you write your Python file. Okay, so we're gonna save, and then we're gonna run it. Okay, so if I open the file now, you see we have hello there. Hooray! Yeah, we've gotten there. So very easy to write a Python file. You don't have to start writing to notepad directly. Maybe you have to do that to be fast. Okay, so now you get the idea, and you can keep writing more lines. Right, dude, calm down. Okay, that's just random. Okay, so run it. Okay, that ran successfully, and as you can see, so if I try adding something here, so we want this to go on a new line, so we'll put a backslash n here to make sure it goes on a new line. As you can see, let me close this and open it again. Python overwrites what was there before. So even if I add my own, add my, okay, so let's just leave that there, current. So we're gonna run that, then I'm gonna open it again. As you can see, it's Python overwrites it, so you need to be careful of whatever you're doing whenever it's in the right mode. Okay, cool. So that's how you write to Python files basically. Okay, and you also have another way of writing. You can write by using list instead. So you just have to put, so let me show you that quickly. So we're gonna do file.write called write lines, and then we pass the list of the strings you want to write. Okay, so we're gonna put this in strings. We're gonna put this in the list rather. See, oh my, and then we're gonna come down here, and then we're gonna copy and paste this. Okay, cool. So we're gonna comment this and change a few things here, so you know it's not actually the format text that was there. So we're gonna do hello Python instead, hello Python, and then we're gonna save it and run it. So when we run it here, ran successfully. Now let's open it and see. So as you can see, hello Python, calm down. Okay, cool. So that's it. You can either write line by line or write with list, and you have to add the escape character, the new line escape character, to make sure it goes on a new line. Okay, now we've been writing to files, and we'll be seeing that whenever we write to files, Python overwrites whatever was there before. So how do we append to files instead? We have two simple ways, just by adding the append method up here. Okay, so let's add a 1 here, which means the file doesn't exist. If you do this with the append method, as you can see, append method also creates its own. So it's only the, okay, I haven't talked about the write method, the read method anyway. Only the read method will give you an error on trying to open a file that doesn't exist, and the default method, which is the text method, that was when we didn't put any mode here. So whenever you're using the append and the write method, they always create the file if you don't exist. But note, let me delete that. Note, append method doesn't override file, adds to the file. So if I run this with the hello.txt, we're gonna save that. If I run, let me comment this as well. Okay, I'm gonna save, and then we're gonna run it. Okay, so we're gonna, let me open it, and we see it appends it. So it appends everything to the new line, to a new line, or just adds it to the file. So that's it with the append method. Now how do we read from files? Very simple, the same way. All you have to do is just change the mode, and I'm going to show you where you can just do that without having to keep changing the mode every time, so you can do everything. Okay, so we're gonna do write, sorry, we're gonna do read, and okay, it's better I just comment all that. Comment. Okay, so we're gonna print f the read. So we're gonna run that. As you can see, oh, I'm really sorry about that. It's actually file, so we need to pass our file name, not f. Okay, this is our file here, correct? Okay, so file the read, as you can see, it prints everything that is in the file. Okay, so to be able to know if you can write to a file or read from a file, I'm going to show you how you can do that. Because if I should use the right method here and try to read a file, you see we get an error, not readable because of the mode we passed in. Okay, so to be able to tell if you can write or read from the file, all you have to do is write table, write able, and then you call it, and then you print. Let's print file or readable. This will tell us if we can write or read from the file. So the first one will tell us if we can write to the file and if we can read. So the first one says first we can write to the file, and the second one says true, we can write to the file, we can read the file rather. So let's change this to read, to write, sorry about that. So we can write to the file but we can't read the file. Okay, so let me talk about, let me put read here, and just like we have write and write lines, we also have read lines. So we can just do print pi, oh my goodness, the read lines. Okay, so this returns a list, just like you pass write lines as the argument of write lines as a list. Okay, so this returns a list. So what's going on? Oh yeah, by the way, I told you you do not call the write mode on a file that already exists. So when I called it the other time while I was showing you all this, it actually cleared what was inside the file. So I'm going to add something else there, and Python there. Okay, so you can see them. I'm going to run this again. As you can see, it divides into lines for me and then adds all that is needed. Okay, so I told you be careful the way you use the write mode. As you can see, what happened just not quite long. Okay, you can also tell the number of lines by using print file.tell and save that and run it. Sorry, the number of characters rather. I'm very sorry about the number of characters. Okay, so we have 25 characters in here. I'm not gonna count out, obviously. It goes without saying, I'm not gonna count out. Okay, so we talked about the main methods, and instead of changing modes every time, what you can do is you can just put a plus in front of it, and this plus makes you be able to do this read and then be able to write. Okay, so this time now if I run this, let's close this. Oh my god, I ran it already. Okay, so I'm gonna cancel this. Okay, so I'm gonna change it to plus back, and then we're gonna run it. So when we run it, you see this is false and true, which means we can only read, which is this, now let me change this to, sorry, oh my goodness, I'm very sorry about all those errors. Okay, so if you change this to plus and we run it now, as we will see now, we get both true and false, which means we can read and we can write to the file. Okay, but now let's try it with a new file, and you see it gives us a file not found error because this is read down here. So you also need to understand that. So if I change this to W and I run that, it will create a new file for me, as you can see now. Okay, why was that slow anyway? Okay, so you can also check the name of the file by doing .name file dot, oh sorry, we're not supposed to call that, it's an attribute, sorry about that, just file the name, and then it prints the file path to me. Okay, so instead of using the file path, as I told you earlier, you can just use the name of the file. So we're going to change this to hello world. I just want to show you this, whatever is here is just a file path. So if you're going to be using the name of the file, Python will only be checking the current directory. So now we're going to change it to hello.txt, and then we're going to run it. Okay, as you can see, it returns what it passes to it. So that is the name of the file. Okay, so that's you reading and writing files with Python. So before we go, instead of opening a file and closing it every time, although if you don't close it, it's not return an error, but it's at the expense of your computer. I mean, it's gonna affect it. Okay, so you don't want something running in the background, you don't want a file, an operation running in the background. So the way we do this to solve this issue without having to open file every time and close it, because sometimes it's possible you forget when you're writing from the beginning and forget to close it. It's really possible, and one way you can do that is with the help of what we call the context manager. No need to worry about that. Just know that all you have to do is write with and then open the same open the name of the file. So we're gonna pass hello.txt and the mode of the file, just the same way you do it. So we're gonna do read, and then so the difference is you have to pass as file. So this is just like a variable holding whatever this returns. This actually returns a file object, capital letter F and then IL, small letters. So this returns that, and then this is what we'll be working with. So we have a block of code here. So if I print file dot read lines, okay, that's a method, so I have to do that. Okay, so if I run it, Okay, let's see what's going on wrong. Oh yeah, we used the right method again. Okay, so we're gonna do hello. Let's just put something random there so we can do this fast. Okay, as you can see, we get this. So this is a better way of doing it without having to, open files and close it. They are both good methods, but with this just handles it. And if any error occurs, like you see in the format one, when you open it, if any error occurs along the road before it closes, then it won't close your file, which is bad. But with this, even if any error occurs, it's gonna close your file no matter what happens, which is the best approach to opening files, as in my suggestion. Okay, so just that's just it. We're writing with Python itself. And so as you can see, I've cleared some things up. So to be able to write to Excel files, as I said at the beginning, you need the CSV. It's a built-in Python module, so all you have to do is just to import it. We talked about importing in the last tutorial. Okay, so to be able to use it, basically CSV means command separated value. And with this is more like a txt file, but it's .csv. The difference is just that, let me open this and show you the difference. Oh, that was, why did I have to go through that long process when I can just, okay, double click. So the difference is, yeah, the values are usually comma separated anyway. That's the difference between a CSV file and normal files. So you can have this, you can keep having other stuffs like that. So I'm not gonna do much on this because of time. And so the way you use it is by, we're gonna do with open, then we're gonna do, let's use our hello, but this time hello.csv, so it's gonna overwrite it. And then we're gonna be using, which mode should we use? Let's use the write mode. Of course, we don't have any file to read from. Okay, so as file, and something about the CSV is, before you can start writing, you need to create an object for writing or reading in this case. So I'm just gonna show you how to write. You're gonna go find out how to read yourself. You can use the help method on the writer object or the drum method. So I'm gonna show you that so you can explore that yourself. Okay, and by the way, with what I've explained earlier, I just want to give you a sort of a short challenge to do. I'm challenging you to go after this tutorial and then create kind of a password saver. So it asks you for your password, and note, if it asks you for your password and saves your password for you, so you can read your password and write your password. So from the idea, from the loops and everything we're talking about, what I want you to do is just, that's a hint already. Have a while before you have what do you want to do, and then if you want to read your password, it gives you the list of your passwords and the what the account is, the account for the password and stuff like that. Though it's not secure, but it's just like a fun project, you can walk around with it if you understand. And anyway, let's continue with the video. And the next thing I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna create the writer object. So I'm gonna do CSV, so don't get confused with any of the CSV the writer, and then the name of the file. So this create a writer object which will make us be able to write to a CSV file. Okay, so I'm gonna print the writer. Okay, help writer instead. Help writer. Okay, so I'm gonna run that. So the reason why I did this was to show you, okay, it's already created the files, you can see, and it's showing an Excel format. Okay, so this is like kind of an Excel file format. All Excel does is just removes the comma, and then those rows as it has rows in it, and the columns after those commas, any value after each comma as it as a column. So that's the difference basically. So the reason why I'm showing this is so that you can explore the reader method yourself. Now let's get back to the video. Okay, so instead of using reader, you can just change this to reader and then help reader. I'm not gonna be showing how to read fast, obviously. Okay, now let's move on to writing. Now to write, you're gonna do writer dot, you can write row. So to write a row, you're gonna pass a list. To write a row, you have to pass a list. As you can see, iterable, and a list is an iterable, a tuple is an iterable. Anything you can step through is called an iterable basically in Python. Okay, so we're gonna pass hello there, let's leave it that way, and then we're gonna pass tech me. Okay, so now we're writing this row, and this Python is just gonna write everything here as a normal txt file, so we can, for example, if you want to do this 10 times, you can loop through it, but I'm gonna show you a better way still. So I'm gonna save that and then we're gonna run it. Sorry about that. Okay, we're gonna, oh my god, oh, I just made a mistake. So we're gonna cancel that, not now. Okay, so we're gonna open it with notepad. Okay, so now as you can see, we have hello, htr, and tech me. So if I write something else here, write that dot write row. Of course you can write to a normal csv file as normal, but this is a better way. So you can just do as well. Okay, we're gonna close that and save it. So we're gonna run that. I'm gonna open this again with notepad. Okay, cool. As you can see, we have as well, and we have this simple. So that's as cool as anything. So that's if we're writing with CSV files with your writer object. And now let me show you how to write everything at once. So all you have to do is write rows. So you don't have to loop and do for I in range of 10, start looping and doing all those stuff. So all you have to do is just pass it in the list. So we're gonna have a list of lists. So this list here is gonna contain each row in your file. So this will be like the first row. We're gonna do this control, then comma, and this will be your second row. So we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do. So if I run this, sorry about that, let's remove this. If I run this now, we're gonna open this with a notepad, then we're gonna see it. As you can see, we don't have to write 2 lines, so you have to just pass it your rows in a list, which is a list of lists. Okay, now let me show you how it looks like in Excel, so you know that we're actually writing in Excel. Okay, so let me open it, and cool, as you can see, we have hello there with the space, which is a nice formatting. Okay, so that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Of recent, I've not been seeing most of your engagement in my content. If you watch it to the end, and thanks for watching anyway, and I'll see you in the next video. Bang, peace out guys.